Charlotte FC hitting the road this weekend as they look to add on another win to their already impressive start to the season.
Yes, they're set to face Columbus, a club that's currently second in the standings, where CLT FC is fourth right now.
So we want to bring on friend of the show, Willie P., who does a play-by-play for Charlotte FC. Willie,
yes, sir.
Obviously not the best finish that we like in New England, and we're going to be down some people heading over there to play Columbus. What do we need to do to be able to pull out a win?
Well, I think the one thing that was encouraging that Dean Smith said in his press conference yesterday was that he thought their performance against New England was one of the best this year, if not the best. It just did not have the final product. And we've talked about that before. A lot of times the metrics will favor you, but the ball just doesn't go in the back of the net. It's a funny game, soccer. Momentum is very fleeting, and you're only as good, it seems like, as your last result. So remember last week, we were sitting here talking with Andy. You felt like you were high in the world and you were first place. You're only in fourth, so it's not exactly like you're sitting there down in the dumps. Columbus is a very good team, but if Charlotte plays any way like they have here recently, they got a good chance on Saturday.
All right, so let's talk about the ingredients to make this a win between Zaha, Biel, Clean, all those guys.
Well, unfortunately, it doesn't seem like Pep Biel is going to play this weekend. Pep has been dealing with a hamstring injury. Dean Smith said there might be an outside chance he trains today and they can travel him to Columbus potentially, but I'm not sure whether or not that's going to happen. It is going to come down to connectivity with Wilfried Zaha along the other forward players. The three out of the four forward players outside of Pep Biel have been playing very well of late. Ajiman's played well. Abada had a chance that I'm sure he would have liked back in the game against New England, and Zaha had a couple too that could have potentially gotten in. This team is still capable enough in winning without Pep Biel. They'll need to obviously have some different creativity in the midfield in terms of how that works, but those three are hitting on all cylinders right now.
They're going to be on the road, which has been a little bit of a tough time for the Crown here. What do they need to bottle up from their win in Canada to get a win on the road again?
Well, it always would take it would always take an early goal, Annie, obviously. Okay. The early goal always helps you because first goal in this league always seems like it's a momentum shifter in that fashion. But dictating the terms right away, Columbus is going to play, I think, a little differently than New England is. I think Columbus is going to want to attack. They're going to want to possess. They're going to want to do a lot of different things. New England kind of sat back a lot and made Charlotte make some mistakes. I think Columbus is going to try to dictate the terms themselves, which I think will allow Charlotte FC some opportunities on the counterattack. Charlotte FC is best when they are given the ability to take advantage of other teams' mistakes and counter. They also handled Columbus pretty well last year. They've gone there and drawn twice in their history, and they've also won there against them last year. They've won against Columbus last year at home. So this is a squad that, while they've been among the best in MLS, Charlotte's handled them pretty well. They've only lost once in their history against them.
Willie, obviously Wilfried Zaha made a very public comment. We can't show it because there's some language that isn't fit for our younger viewers on there, but essentially saying, if I dribble, I'm too selfish. If I pass, I'm not doing enough. There's a lot of pressure on Zaha, a new father at that as well. Where should people put their expectations on Zaha, and can you kind of put into perspective what a DP means?
Well, Julia, the unfortunate part about the way that our league works with the designated player tag is that people think that a DP should automatically come in and score 20 goals and have 10 assists. And I just don't think that that's very realistic because those seasons are very, very rare. And I think from Wilfried Zaha's perspective, he brings so much to this attack that Charlotte did not have. Attention goes to the wing now for a purposeful reason. It opens things up for so many other people. And I also think from Wilfried's perspective, like most of his time is spent out on the wing. You can't score when you have your back heels against a touchline. It's not necessarily an easy thing to do to come from that far out and score with individual technical ability. I also have to remember he hasn't played a lot over the course of the last couple of years too, so he's still trying to get his timing back. I understand that folks want to see goals and assists from him, but I think from an expectation standpoint, he has done everything that Charlotte FC has asked for and more. Dean Smith loves Wilfried Zaha. He's loved in the locker room. I don't think there's any problem there. I don't think there's any rift. And I think as time goes on, you'll start to see those numbers pick up as well.
All right, while we are hoping for a win on the road, it's going to be 2 weeks before the next home game, and so we need to talk about that. If you're looking to go to a game at Bank of America Stadium, you're going to have to wait till the 17th when they take on Chicago Fire. But one of the cool things that'll be for that game when they come back in 2 weeks is what Willie happens to be wearing today. They're giving away a party shirt, which apparently that's what you're wearing.
Well, I don't know if this is the one they're going to give away. This is the one we gave away last year against DC.
That's cool.
There will be maybe an edition 2.0 in terms of this year for the party shirt, but this was one of our most popular giveaways last year. People are going crazy over these last year.
They're zooming out. They're zooming out so we can get, look at that.
This was a very hot item last year. The Charlotte FC party shirt. I don't know if this is exactly what it's going to look like this year, but it is something that stands to be very popular again here in 2 weeks.
All right, really quick, I'm going to let you toss to Teddy because you always do a good job with that. But prediction, come on.
Oh.
I think we go out. I think we go up there. I think we get a point. I think we get a draw. 2-2.
Okay.
Oh, okay.
Well,
We'll
you
take
can take
it.
our jobs. Where are we going next, Willie?
We go to Ted Phaeton, who is going to tell us where the rain might be this weekend. And I hope it isn't raining on Sunday because I got a pulled pork that I have to smoke for my parents. So make sure that it's not going to rain on my parade.
Wow, Ted.
Man. I'm feeling the heat here in the Weather Center, folks.